visually challenged category, so you obviously understand the disabilism, the concept of disabilism.
Do you think we should try to get POK freed?
Can you throw light on something which a very popular psychologist Solomon Asch talked about, of conformity?
What does happiness means to you?
And he answered the question himself. Yes, I've met one such fellow, the president of Ukraine.
You're Mr. Manu Garg,
Yes.
right? Manu Garg.
Yes.
Manu, my name is Vijender Chauhan, right?
Yes, sir.
You're comfortable?
Yes, sir.
English is going to be a preferred medium?
Yes, sir.
Can we start?
Yes.
Okay, Manu, I want you to introduce yourself to the board members. We have got 5-member board, right? Please start.
I am Manu Garg. I am a single child born and brought up by my single parent, my mother, in Jaipur, Rajasthan. I have done my schooling from St. Xavier School. Then I have done my graduation from Hindu College, where I was also ranked second. Then I have done my masters from JNU Delhi. And recently I have been also selected in the PhD program at JNU in Center for South Asian Studies.
Okay. Anything else you want to add?
Sir, my interests are in discussing about geopolitics, and also I have a keen interest in listening to audiobooks and comical podcasts.
Okay. You just mentioned that you have done graduation from Hindu College, which is one of the better colleges in the country.
Yes.
Your post-graduation is from JNU, again one of the best institutions. Your interest is also in the similar field, which is geopolitics, right?
Yes, sir.
But you end up taking Indian Foreign Service as number 10.
Yes.
I mean, it's not just not matching. You're not confident enough to work for the nation?
Sir, I am keenly desiring to opt for Indian Foreign Service, but actually the firm vacancies released by UPSC, there are no seats for my category visually impaired. So therefore, I have opted the seats where there are vacancies on the top, and just after that I have mentioned Indian Foreign Service, so that if there is any restructuring in any case, then I would be allotted Indian Foreign Services.
Okay.
I didn't understand.
You should have left it for them to decide. He said there are no vacancies for the visually challenged in this year in Foreign Service. That's why I have not chosen.
Do we do that?
They do release a list, but I still
don't think so.
But you need to fill the form. But anyways, okay, let us start then. Manu, I can see that political science is something that you have very keenly observed. You are coming from a visually challenged category, so you obviously understand the disabilism, the concept of disabilism. Tell me, what are the basic tenets of this idea, this ideology of disabilism?
So the ideology of disabilism is basically of two strands. Firstly, there is a medical definition of disability, which says that there is some deficiency in a person which hinders him to act in the society, and he is not able to have proper functions. Whereas there is a social model of disability. The social model basically focuses on that if a particular type of resources are provided, then a disabled person is not less than any other person.
But when I say disabilism, I basically means the idea which believes that it's not some kind of a disease to be cured. It is basically the structures which are ableist, and that's why they disable individuals. Do you agree?
Yes, sir, to a large extent I agree to the opinion. For example, if a person is not wearing spectacles, then if the spectacles were not invented, then a person could have been considered disabled. But with the medical intervention, and if society is providing even enough opportunities, then I don't think there is anything called disability.
When we try and understand historically Indian society, what role do you see disabled being playing historically in our country? And if we go by our history, do you believe that we were treating them better in the ancient times, or it is only recently we have started being a little responsible from the disabilism point of view?
Yes, sir. So historically speaking, there are both point of view where disabled are treated at par, and there are also cases of Dhritarashtra in Mahabharata where they were not considered capable enough to become the king, to head Hastinapur. But in the recent times, with the constitutional interventions and other legislative interventions, I think that we have improved upon it as per the society is evolving.
What is your research topic for the PhD?
Sir, it is focusing on the South Asia, and in specific it is focusing on the environmental governance in Pakistan. And sir, it is not decided yet as I have just been admitted.
South Asia you're talking about, SARC is dead. Is it dead or it was killed? If it was killed, who murdered SARC?
Sir, the last meeting of SARC being organized in 2014 is a testimony to the failure of SARC in the recent times. but I think it was killed by the Pakistani obstructionism, where it was raising up issues of bilateral importance on platforms like SARC.
But responsibility lies with India of protecting such an institution, and India failed in protecting the platform of SARC. Do you see that India being complicit in this murder of this multilateral organization?
Sir, I would like to politely disagree that India has failed SARC, because even in the recent COVID pandemic, India took all the initiatives. It even established a SARC fund to dispense the COVID vaccines and medicines to the people of SARC. And India is taking steps, but the Pakistani continuation of raising up Kashmir and such bilateral issues is making it a stopped caravan.
Manu, last one from me. You are studying from Jawaharlal Nehru University. SARC also established a very important university in Delhi, but now it is not being favored by many students, neither from India nor from the neighboring countries. I mean, not to the extent it started. Do you believe that South Asian University is also a failed experiment?
No, so there are many students that, in my experience, I have seen that students in India and students from abroad also are showing some vigor in the SARC institution, this SAU university. There are certain challenges of funds being raised, and Pakistan's boycott due to its headquarters being in India is posing certain challenges, but still I don't think that it's a failure.
Thank you.
Manu, there is a university called SARC University.
Yes.
You're aware of that. And there was a vice chancellor who belonged to your previous college, Hindu college. What's the name?
Sir, I'm not sure. Sir, I will have to read.
You're not sure. Who was the principal of Hindu college in your time?
Sir, it was Mrs. Anju Srivastava, ma'am.
And have you heard of Kavita Sharma?
No, sir, I will have to.
You haven't? Oh, all right. Do you think we should try to get POK freed?
Yes, sir, POK is an integral part of Indian territory, and India should take all its steps to regain its territory of POK.
And is it feasible, or in the near future maybe, or later on?
Sir, as per the statement of our Honorable Defence Minister, the recent protests in POK highlight that the people of POK are themselves interested to become a part of India, and there a time would come when they themselves would join India.
All right. So you mentioned writing on current geopolitics. What did you write recently?
So recently the last article I wrote was regarding the Taliban conquest of Afghanistan and the implications that it will have on South Asia and particularly India and Pakistan.
Where did you write it?
Sir, I wrote it for a magazine at DU College.
A magazine in
one of the colleges of DU.
One of the colleges. Okay. Now, is Afghanistan recognized, the Taliban regime recognized anywhere in the world?
Sir, not currently. It is not being recognized in any part of the world. However, Pakistan is taking step by advocating the seat for Talibani government in the SARC summit. By such steps, Pakistan is trying, but still it is not being recognized.
So why has India not recognized Taliban?
Sir, India follows a strict policy of no tolerance against any kind of terrorism. Therefore, it is not trying to associate with diplomatically and currently associate with the Talibani regime.
And the rest of the world has refused to recognize Taliban for the same reason or some different reason?
So mostly the reason is same, and there are also issues faced by the women in Afghanistan, and the Taliban dictates to ban the women in higher education institutions and even in personal sphere and public life.
So is that our reason too?
Yes, sir, it is one of the reasons.
One of the reasons. All right. You have written on social marketing and its mental health impact. It's a very interesting subject. And where did you write it?
Sir, I participated in a debate which tackled the issue of social media and its mental health impact. I found this topic very interesting because currently we are living in a time of virtual space where the public spaces like parks are being replaced by social media platforms, and the mental impact that is ensuing by these platforms is quite alarming for the society. The recent grooming gangs and the case in UK is an alarming example for me.
And what is the solution that you offer?
So the solutions can be twofold. Firstly, we can have a regulation, for example, that happens in China, where there are time checks and notification pop-ups that present that the usage that is on social media platform by children. Secondly, I also suggest to have parenting a proper parenting guidelines that are taught to the parents, so that they have better knowledge about social media and the impact, so that they can regulate their children from using it.
How long were you in the NSS?
So I was for last 2 years of my college stays at Hindu College.
And what did you do there?
Sir, my work was for supplemental education, where I contacted the children around, and if they faced any issues, for example, any learning outcome deficiencies, then they could ask me, they could call me, and I would clarify to them.
What is the motto of NSS?
So the motto of NSS is not me but youth.
When was the scheme started?
Sir, it was started in September of 1969.
What is the significance of 1969?
So 1969 on Indian in the Indian national politics, I can say that the vice president elections were held, where VV Giri gained support and Congress was divided into two parts.
That is hardly of any importance and consequence. It's something more to 1969. Somebody's centenary.
Sir, I am not able to recall.
You are not aware. It's Gandhi centenary. You please remember, this might be asked. Thank you. Before I finish, what is the problem with your visual impairment? What kind of impairment is it?
Sir, in my case particularly?
Yeah.
Sir, I have a problem in my retina, where the image is formed. The rods and cone cells, particularly in the central part of my retina called as macula, are degenerating. It is due to a mutation in the RP65 gene.
Is it correctable or not?
Sir, in the current scheme of technology, it is non-curable. But however, prospects like gene therapy and stem cell therapy pose a future that is optimistic.
What about transplant?
Sir, the transplant in eye is particularly for the cornea part, the white part that we see. However, retina is located much inside the structure of an eye. So treating it would be difficult.
Would be difficult. All right. Thank you very much.
Hello, Manu. I see that you had stood first in Jan Prakash debate on social media's mental health impact.
Yes, sir.
Can you throw light on something which a very popular psychologist Solomon Asch talked about, of conformity? Do you think that social media in today's time pressurizes a person to conform to the ideas of others, and that may be a cause of the mental health issues prevailing?
Yes, sir. I am of opinion that the conformity of following someone or having opinions similar to someone are creating echo chambers, where people derive pleasure or a sense of identity by their recognition and their validation by their peers on social media. And this is definitely causing mental health issues, as one is losing their identity in the views of others.
Okay. I also see that you had written a publication on water crisis. Can you reflect on the fact that when we have 75% of Earth's water present, then why not water desalination can be a sustainable solution to this water crisis?
So water desalination plant are established in Saudi Arabia, and they are proving out to be productive. However, on a large scale, it seems that promoting desalination plants would create a water paradox, where the rich people would be able to afford water, but at the same time, the people who are not so well off would face difficulties in buying water.
So you mean to say that what the future is not water desalination?
Sir, it can be one of the solutions, but definitely other solutions should also be considered, like reviving rivers and also treating the sewage water. So
do you think that interlinking of rivers from surplus to deficit is a sustainable solution, and what are its impact on the environment at large?
Yes, sir. So linking of rivers like SYL Canal and Ken-Betwa project can be useful to have water parity among regions. However, it imposes certain environmental risks. For example, the clearing of forests and dredging the area to supply water to deficit areas can lead to problems of animal migration and to impact the natural course of rivers.
Okay. Have you heard of the word Gothan, which is used in the context of parali and cutting of the parali and usage of it? Have you heard of it? The Chhattisgarh model of dealing with pollution?
Sorry, sir, I'm not aware.
What exactly do you think is the problem of Delhi's pollution? What are the 5 probable reasons for this, and what would be the solution, a sustainable one that you would suggest?
Yes, sir. Sir, Delhi's pollution is a multidimensional issue. Firstly, the geography of Delhi, where the cold winds and the western disturbances come and settle down in Delhi, makes it an isolated gas chamber. So secondly, the Delhi being a national capital territory, there are industrial activities, and in any industrial town there are pollution that can be seen. For example, the London smog and the Beijing smog. So thirdly, the areas around Delhi, for example, Rajasthan and Haryana, there are farmers who are burning parali, whose smoke comes and enters Delhi. Fourthly, the traffic congestion. Delhi is hosting a huge population in compared to its surface area. So therefore, the footfall and the carbon footprint of people is huge. And
Yeah, please continue.
yes, sir. And sir, the fifth problem would be the construction of buildings in Delhi. The construction of buildings which is leading to high carbon output. Also, the increasing of private cars and the less use of public transportation.
Perfect. Can you name me 2 movies which dealt with persons with disability issues that you have seen in the last 5-6 months, maybe?
Sir, I can remember of Shrikant movie, which was based on the life of an entrepreneur who was a person with disability. Secondly, a movie was Black, which dealt with how person with visual impairment deal with challenges of day-to-day life.
Okay. Thank you so much.
Thanks.
So Manu, are you aware about the economic condition of India right now? What are the the silver linings and what are the dark spots in Indian economy? Just name few.
Yes, sir. So despite the global poly crisis that affected the world after the Russia-Ukraine war and the COVID pandemic, India's economy is still growing at a decent pace, where Europe is facing recession. So the bright spots of Indian economy are that it is going through a demographic window of opportunities till 2047 and 2041 and 2061. Also, the current research potential and the research expenditure had doubled in the last 10 years, from 60,000 crores to 1,27,000 crores. Also, Honorable Prime Minister has announced 2025 to be a year of reforms. That itself is a marker that Indian economy is ready to bear reforms. However, there are certain challenges like skill gap. As per a recent report, only 45% of the individuals are employable. That is an issue and a concern. At the same time, there is also unemployment rates that are rising and economic disparities that are increasing.
Okay, economic disparity worldwide and in India, if you compare, so is there any index by which we can measure the inequalities?
So there are certain indexes that are released by CMIE. Also, there is, sir, I'm not able to recall the graph.
Okay, tell me one thing, that FIIs, you know about FIIs?
Yes, sir.
So they are withdrawing money from Indian markets and putting it in US markets. What can be the probable reasons for the same?
So the Fed rate hike of USA Federal Bank is one such reason, where they are finding better opportunities abroad. The second reason could be the ease of doing business and the increase in the long-term capital gains tax that India has imposed, which is leading to the outflow of FIIs.
Okay. Recently there was a news about the trade deficit in India, which has increased in the past quarter. So what is the reason for the same?
So the increase in trade deficit is mostly because of China, where we are importing a lot of items from China and we are dependent upon the raw materials like APIs. Also, we, being an energy deficit country, are importing oils, both that is cooking oil and the fuel from Middle East. So one more reason that I think is the less investment in our mineral exploration capabilities. I find that the China model, where they are investing a lot in areas of oxygen and around, is leading them to explore many minerals that they are using for their growth, which India is lacking currently.
Okay, what kind of minerals in oxygen region?
Sir, they have currently found out gold reserves, which can make them a gold exporting country in the future.
Okay, tell me that freebies are a part and parcel of the Indian politics today, right? So do you agree that freebies should be provided by the state, or it should not be provided and market should play a role, and then the citizens should come out of poverty and unemployment in organic manner through market forces? What is your take on freebies?
So being a welfare state in our orientation, I believe that freebies should be provided. However, they should be defined first. If they are leading to the benefit of people and uplifting of the marginalized communities, for example, the PM Kisan scheme, then such schemes should be beneficial. However, mere distribution of utility items just to entice voters, I think, should be avoided to prevent India from going a downhill like we have seen in the Sri Lankan case.
Okay, my last question. What does happiness means to you?
So happiness to me would imply if I complete my daily targets, the time that I spent with my mother and the ideas that I share give me ultimate happiness. And happiness to me is not just what I achieve, but the satisfaction that I feel when I am of some use to some other person.
Okay, thank you.
Mr. Garg,
Yes.
very nice to meet you. And you're very good. What is your mother's education?
So my mother is a master's in sociology, and she has also done bachelor's in economics and sociology and political science.
Okay. You seem to have a lot of interest in international affairs. ये रूस यूक्रेन के बीच में जो हो रहा है सही हो रहा है?
नहीं सर, रूस और यूक्रेन के बीच में जो हो रहा है वो वॉर है और वो इंटरनेशनल ट्रीटीज का भी उल्लंघन है, और इसमें जो वायलेंस हो रहा है, जितने लोग मर रहे हैं, सिविलियंस जितने मर रहे हैं, तो उसको तुरंत रोकना चाहिए.
कौन रोकेगा?
सर इंटरनेशनल कम्युनिटी को, और सबसे पहले तो रशिया यूक्रेन खुद को आपस में समझना चाहिए कि ये जो हो रहा है वो गलत हो रहा है, और उनको आपस में एक समझौता बैठाना चाहिए. अभी प्रेसिडेंट इलेक्ट डोनाल्ड ट्रंप से बहुत उम्मीद है दुनिया को कि वो इस वॉर को रुकवाएंगे.
Let me tell you something, beta. I've been in international diplomacy for 51 years and counting. मेरे एक मित्र हैं हंगरी के प्राइम मिनिस्टर विक्टर ऑर्बान. We went to the same college in Paris. उन्होंने हाल ही में कहा था, Have you ever met a fellow who does not want the war to stop that is destroying his country? And he answered the question himself. Yes, I've met one such fellow, the president of Ukraine. वो जंग रोकना नहीं चाहता, उसको पैसे मिलते हैं. Far more than what you read in the media. Anyway, my question again to you. How can we is the United Nations any use to the world?
So the United Nations has been dysfunctional in the case of preventing wars, which was presented in Article 1 to prevent the world from scourge of war. However, its utility is still existing in form of when it delivers products to countries like Africa, where it is where it is providing aid and assistance to the people, directly to the people. So it is still relevant.
How much of the UN's budget, give me a wild estimate, goes on administrative costs when they go and help somebody in Somalia or Haiti or so on? How much do they spend on them? Let's say $100. अपने ऊपर कितना खर्च करते हैं?
Sir, I'm not sure.
80%. 20 जाता है उस बेनिफिशियरी को, बाकी ये खा जाते हैं. अच्छी चीज़ है, बुरी चीज़ है?
Sir, but the administrative staff that goes around is, for example, the UN peacekeeping force. It is helping to prevent conflicts.
It is?
Helping to prevent conflicts.
Where? Doesn't matter. आप जो बात कर रहे थे ना inequality की, I think what the term you were looking for was the Gini coefficient.
Yes, sir.
Is that what you were looking for?
Yes, sir.
Yeah. Great. Well, I have nothing more to ask you. I think you're brilliant. You're outstanding. I find you very relaxed. I find you very comfortable. And the level of your knowledge is excellent. So keep it up, son. May you succeed in your
Thank you, sir.
career dreams.
Thank you so much.
Okay, Manu, before we let you go, you have also mentioned about the podcast thing.
Yes.
What are the main favorite of yours right now?
Sir, currently I am listening to Teen Tal, which is a Hindi podcast. It mentions about social issues, and there it takes a different take, a comical take with puns and with comedy, how they look at the social situations.
Okay. Is there any podcast that's been run by a person of disability?
Yes, sir. There are certain podcasts which are run by person with disability to dispense about the job opportunities and information. For example, Radio Dan podcast, which discusses technology interventions and government schemes that can be of use.
Fine, fine, Manu. It was nice talking to you. Your interview is over. You can leave now.
Thank you so much. Thank you.
Please.
Good luck.
So, Manu, your interview is on
27th of January.
And it is going to be your first interview at the UPSC?
Yes, sir.
Okay. 27th of January means you still have some days, right?
Yes, sir.
And what is your assessment of your performance today? You're happy the way you performed, or there are areas you believe that you can still work on?
Sir, in the initial part of interview, I got very nervous and I was fumbling a lot. Similar case, I continued to fumble and I continued to be nervous. I knew about Gini coefficient and such technical details.
Doesn't matter. See, Manu, right in the beginning, I want to clarify a few things. Actually, when we give suggestions to the candidates about their performance, we ourselves are ableist in our parameters. I mean, that's been the case. For example, if you have seen my videos or otherwise you have seen that I will talk about sitting posture, voice level, I'll talk about eye contact, and you can understand most of these things are ableist things, right?
Yes.
And the same parameters will not and should not apply on your performance. I mean, some of these should not apply. So there are limitations of my feedback when it comes to verbal and non-verbal communication. The only thing I have to suggest in your case is, if it is in your control, can you reduce your speed a bit?
Okay.
Right. That will make your voice more effective. Right. If you what I'm trying to say is that make good use of pauses. You probably already know that pauses play as important role as the speech itself when it comes to communication.
Yes.
Right? Pauses and emphasis. If you're able to use these two tools a little bit more creatively, you're already wonderful, to be honest. I mean, you're probably maybe 15th or 20th visually challenged candidate I am interviewing in my career, and you're among the best lot, right? And I know there are some who you must already be following the visually challenged one, and most likely I've taken their interview as well.
Yes.
But you are definitely very, very good, right? You're good in terms of not just the communication, but also in terms of the preparation and the content part, right? But then sky's the limit. You can still revise a few things, right?
Yes.
So you need to work on a few areas. When you're talking about, the only suggestion I have, because the way you analyze was good. Your strength was you know what you know and you know what you don't know. You were not unnecessarily claiming to be knowing something which you do not know. If there was a area which you couldn't answer, you're saying no, right? Which is a nice thing. The only hunch from this side of the table sometimes comes that it appears it appears as if you're prepared, right? It is coming out of the notes or the current affair notebooks or maybe the other sources which are available to other candidates as well. Whenever there's a possibility of giving your experiential aspects or your analysis, grab that opportunity. It will further add another 5-10 marks to already good score you're going to get. You're getting my point?
Yes, sir.
So if you're giving, if you're talking international relation, you're talking economy, society, whatever, your first intention always is to give the information you already have from the books. Fine, there's nothing wrong with it. But if you can add your perspective to it wherever possible, which is more coming from the experience, you were given certain opportunities there. For example, when you were discussing about your mother, you were discussing about certain your college and things like that. There probably you had this opportunity to add to it, right?
Yes.
So these are the few things. But positive thing about you is that you will be getting the attention of the board right from the word go. And trust me, this is a very valuable commodity over there. Because for you it is once in lifetime opportunities, for them it is another candidate. So most candidates do not get that kind of attention which you will be getting from the word go, and you have this ability to keep that attention for 30 minutes, and if you are able to do it, then you're actually crossing 200 marks, right?
Yes.
So try and capitalize on the initial attention you're getting, right?
Yes.
All the best.
Thank you, sir.
You want to ask something?
No, sir. I have been advised about my body language in many of the mocks.
That's what I said. These parameters are very ableist, right?
What was the advice you got?
To sit a little more upright and.
You can be more relaxed. That is something I can say. It's not just about the body language thing, but also because if you're relaxed, your answers will be better, your communication will be better. You shouldn't be अपने आप को सिकोड़ना नहीं, ठीक है ना?
Yes.
I mean, you are entitled to certain space on the chair. Use that, claim that, right? It shouldn't be like it happens with as we talk about the ableism thing. Disabled people are more likely to get shrink on their chairs. They try and control themselves. Don't do that. Take whatever space you are entitled to, right?
Yes.
Be relaxed. That's important. Sitting upright will obviously will help, but here you are looking absolutely okay.
Can you put your hands together? Let's see how you look. Yeah. I think that's better because you were sitting in a attention mudra, which was making you look more scared.
Yes.
Now this is more relaxed.
Okay.
Yeah.
Right?
Definitely.
Yes.
You're visually challenged, you're partially or it's full?
Sir, it's almost full.
Can you see any of us? Can you make out?
You're able to see light as such?
Yes, I can have light perception.
You can differentiate between day and night, but
Yes,
you cannot actually see.
Yes, sir.
It's fine. It's fine. You're going to do wonders. Trust me. If you have done your mains well, I'm sure you'll do very, very good. Right? All the best.
Thank you so much.